Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Kenn Bosak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Kenn Bosak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Kenn bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get some Kenn Bosak.
And we're live, bros.
We live.
How's everybody doing? We ain't dead, I know that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not that I realize, at least. But who knows? Life expresses itself in all sorts of ways. Maybe we're in heaven or hell and we just never realized it.
Inhale, exhale. Take a hit from the dab rig. It just doesn't have the same ring if like Cypress Hill came out now. They'd be like, take a hit from the vape pen. Inhale, exhale. I blow clouds as big as a whale. No, it doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't.
Before I go ahead and introduce our guest, Andrew, I wanted to go ahead and put a spotlight real quick on this thing right here. I did this. I drew this on an iPad.
Ghost! Oh my god! Is that ghost?
It's the first NFT that I minted of art that I did it. So I did it, and then I minted it, and then I put it up. So the only way to get it is to blend these 3 NFTs to get this one NFT. That's it.
It feels different, right?
Yeah. And it's infinite minted, so there's as many as people want, I guess, right? Until people don't want higher mint numbers or whatever. I don't know. But all you gotta do is get a Kenn Bosak penny, a Kenn Bosak token, and a Kenn Bosak coin. And then you can go ahead and blend one of each making it 3 NFTs for 1 NFT in about 3 hours and 50 minutes. So that link I will post here for you, bros. Thanks DMB for tuning in. Much love. How you doing? What up, Riff? How goes it? You got any of the Cypress Hill NFTs? No, I don't. Kind of wish I did. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know, 3 hours, 59 minutes. Keep an eye over here. Have fun. Blend away. Our guest, though, is here to talk about, what is it, Ladopoly?
Ladopoly, baby.
Ladopoly. There we go. Ladopoly.io. The name is in the title of the show. I'll post a link in the chat as well if you want to guys check it out with us. But Andrew, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to us in the audience, maybe let us know a little bit about who you are, how you got into crypto, and what you're doing with Ladopoly.
For sure. So to start with, I'll tell you about Ladopoly. It's brought to you by the Solads Gameverse. We are the first play to earn game that will be officially licensed by Hasbro, where collectors can play one of the favorite board games they grew up with and win crypto. Everybody who mints one of our game board NFTs is going to receive a replica board made by Hasbro so they can get something to play on in real life while also experiencing the benefits of owning a piece of the Solads Gameverse. Players can earn crypto and blue chip NFTs by rolling dice and moving around the board, or by simply purchasing and staking property NFTs. Also, we're going to be doing giveaways based on in-game achievements. So, for example, whoever goes around the board the most times week 1 is going to win a The Gods NFT. And if you're dialed into Solana at all right now, you know The Gods is probably worth about 20 grand or so, or 18 to 20 grand depending on the one. But yeah, that's what we're most excited about right now. We actually have 4 collections that we brought to market. This isn't our first. How I got involved in crypto was in 2017. I knew about Bitcoin way back in the day when it was like 15 cents, and I was like, nobody's ever going to want digital currency, and then I ran into one of my poker player friends, and poker players were some of the first ones to really send Bitcoin back and forth because we always owed each other money. And he's like, man, did you hear about Bitcoin? When I ran to this guy, and I was like, yeah, I heard it hit $100, but it'll never go any higher. And then he's like, bro, it hit 1,000. And I was like, oh shit. So like that was 2016. I spent like the next 6 months researching Bitcoin like every single day. And I finally pulled the trigger in 2017 when Bitcoin was at $2,700. And so that's what started my crypto journey. And I'm kind of out there on social media on Facebook. So when I get excited about something, I post about it. So every day, 2 or 3 people would hit me up wanting to, have crypto advice. So I decided to start like an alpha group back in 2017. And I took on 100 clients my first 40 days. And it turned into like a hive mind to where we were all investing in nodes together and flipping them. And we were doing really well. And during the bear market, somebody approached me and offered me a nice chunk of money to buy the group from me. So I actually stepped away from the group. And then when the bull market took off again, a few guys from the group reached out to me and asked me to start something up again. And I'm real big on personal development, and I like helping people. So I decided to do it. So we got in some projects early. We got in DOT pretty early, made a bunch of money there. We got in our first NFT about this time last year, and it 180x over 6 weeks. And we were like, shit, man. And then after that, we did bounce around a bunch of other gaming projects last year and made some great money, or at least for us was great money. And like, shit, man, we know how to spot good projects. We know what goes into making a good project. Why don't we launch our own? And that's what led us to starting our own crypto project. We launched our version 1 Solads. That was our collection we stealth launched on New Year's Eve of last year, and we give investors fractionalized ownership of blue chip NFTs. And so each lad, there's 700 of them. It represents a share in this vault of all these NFTs we have. And what people can do is they'll be able to stake those lads and earn lad token based on the value of the vault. And one of our core values is we do dope shit. And so what we did is on everybody that minted, we airdropped another NFT for free, our version 2 Solads. and it's the inverse business model. We mint in huge proportions, do quick flips, hold 1 or 2 for a moonshot, and people can stake those version 2 lads in a pool and earn tokens based on the value of that vault. But there's multiple levels of game theory throughout our Solaz game verse. You see it on the screen there, to where you can either stake your lads passively and earn tokens in those vaults, or you can stake them in our game and get an in-game advantage. So it's up to you to decide, do I take the passive income, or do I stake them here and maybe have higher upside? Who knows? I can't tell you. It changes based on multiple dynamics. So those are our 3 main collections. And then our 4th collection, we're about to airdrop for free, because again, we do dope shit. It's called Dope Presidents. And what we did is we dopified all the presidents. They're smoking blunts, got gold chains, gold teeth. And
Oh no.
one big thing we aim to do outside of crypto education is one thing we do outside of crypto education is we try to bridge the gap between the metaverse and the real world. So we invested in a real world project. It's called Scoby, and we invested 10,000. They have a very successful leader who sold multiple businesses. Once they hit a valuation of $7.5 million, we get $1 million back. And what we're going to do is we're going to split that $1 million up between everybody who has a dope president. So each dope president is going to get airdropped $21,000, probably within the next 6 months to a year. And a lot of people never made that money off that much money off an NFT before, but hey, we want to do dope shit. And we actually ran into a little issue with Grover Cleveland Alexander serving split terms. So we threw me in there as like the 13th president, and whoever gets me, they're going to get like 50 G's. So
Wow.
yeah, that's the overview of our project. I know I kind of rambled there for a minute, but that's kind of how I got to where I'm at and what we got going on.
No, that's dope, dude. Yeah, let me screen share this again. I was just going through the site as you were talking. Yeah, dope shit indeed. The roadmap is pretty awesome. Curious why you chose Solana over other blockchains like Wax, for example.
So Wax is solid, man. I have no beef on Wax in general, but and I know there's a lot of great games built out there, but I just truly believe that in Solana as a blockchain, and it's nothing against any other chain. I'm not a maxi on Solana by any means, but when it comes to gaming, I think Solana is most built for scale there. And if you want to play a game, you want to build out a game. My goal is to have 1 million people playing this game, and it's hard to have 1 million people if gas fees are terrible. But outside of that, I believe in the people that brought Solana to the market, Lightspeed Venture Capital. They brought Snapchat to market. Their experience with this high level type of corporation shit that is kind of a dirty word in crypto, but let's be
No, you're right.
real. In some spots we need it, and I believe that when regulations come, the team they have in place is going to be dialed in to be ahead of the game, and that's why I'm confident in Solana. If the market crashed tomorrow, I'd feel comfortable holding my Solana and my Solana projects I believe in for the next 3 years, and letting it bounce back. Just other chains, I'm just not that confident in. It's nothing against those chains.
No, I got you. Wax. Doesn't Hasbro have NFTs on Wax? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. They already
have
work
some
with
Marvel
Wax.
NFTs on Wax, I think.
Yeah, there's a few major toy companies that have projects on Wax. I think that's something that will be seen. I think Ethereum, Solana, Wax. There's a lot of chains that will probably be okay after regulations hit because they're already pretty much in compliance. However, I don't know if it's going to matter as much outside of like that the fringe parts of the ecosystem.
There's definitely going to be niche.
They're going to get cut out, and then everything in this core is going to unite. Well, that's kind of like what Dot is trying to do, right? It's like
yeah.
So that involves like taking the best of the best and making sure that they can work well together. Kind of like an all-star team or something. You have like your Olympic team with all your different players. How do you get Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan to work together? Well, you have a good coach. So that's probably what projects like Dot are. But I think Solana, like if you look at just the venture firms that are behind them and shit, they're not going to let it fail. I mean, if anything else, it's going to be there. So like you can bet on the fact that it will be there. no financial advice, but in my opinion, it will raise in value. And it's obvious because the people pushing it, they have too much ego and money invested in this project to let it fail.
Yeah, the longer I look at this game board, the fucking crazier it gets.
Love it.
So yeah, we we went for popular memes as our spaces and stuff. And but yeah, if you look at Boardwalk, that's me dressed as a pimp. It's called Crypto Ain't Easy. Lad Place is our CTO, Aaron. Then we got Harambe Way over there by the Moonshot.
Oh,
Catch me
dude, you
outside
know what
there.
you could have done? You could have sold land plots for advertising in the center of the board, so people could have put like their logo or some message on the board or something. Like, could have filled this space in with ads, logos, and shit.
So if you go down to the trailer that's on the video, it has some in-game footage, and you'll kind of see that we're gonna have some advertising. We don't have it in the video, but you'll see kind of a different angle than you look at here. But we're
Here,
actually
let's
gonna
do
sell
that.
we're gonna sell advertising in the outer space area, and I think that's one of the most slept on parts of our NFT because
That's
what we're gonna
awesome.
do is 50% of those advertising dollars that we sell is going to go back to board holders every single month. And my projection is ad space on these outer areas is worth about $1 per player. I project by the end of the year minimum we have 10,000 players.
Dun, 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 dun.
Those are V2 lads right there. But kind of that's how you'll view the board. Every time you pass go, you earn tokens. Properties, when people land on them, if you own them, you get to share the rent that they pay in, and then also you earn money just staking them.
Where does the liquidity come from that provide the tokens being rewarded?
So the tokens are generated, essentially mined through gameplay. We're gonna have 100K in liquidity to start with, and then that's actually a great question, right? Because with play to earn, one of the big issues is that you don't have liquidity sometimes. Well, we heavily incentivize our players to provide liquidity. So, do you guys remember when you played Monopoly? You wanted to get like all three of the same property and start building houses and hotels so you could really start wrecking
Yeah, exactly. If the flex was the hotel, for
people.
sure.
Yeah. So in our game, everybody's playing on the same board at the same time, and there's minimal interaction without, besides paying rent to places and our jackpot square and go to jail and shit like that. But we couldn't really do the houses and hotels thing. So with us, when you get your Ledopoly, our version of Monopoly, all three of the same color, the tokens generated by those properties increase by 3 times. So if I have a property that generates 10 tokens per day, now it generates 30 because I have Ledopoly. I have all three of them. But to get that key piece, the final property of Ledopoly, you can only get it through providing liquidity. What players will do is they'll provide liquidity and they'll earn rewards points and LAD token, and they'll be able to cash in those rewards points to get the what we call Satoshi level properties. And at each level, you pick between 2 key properties, and it goes up. And if somebody was to put 20K in liquidity day one, it would take them 60 days to go all the way through all the reward tiers. And then if they want to go through again and get the rest of the key properties, it's going to be another 60 days. But that's at day one when we list LAD token at 1 USDC. When he goes to 2 USDC, you got to double the time or double the amount in liquidity. And then there's going to be other picks that they have at tiers for in-game advantages. So players are going to be heavily incentivized to provide liquidity, especially if you're early and you're trying to build out a book of properties.
Got you. So it's part of it's part of the game. It's gamified liquidity.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the stuff that most people kind of forget about when they're coming up with these grand schemes. Is like you're like, this has to come from somewhere. You can't just like squeeze blood from a rock. So, like, yeah, a lot of these gamified situations forget to gamify the most important part. Like that's literally probably the most important part. Other than it
I
being
agree.
somewhat fun, you know.
That's why most of these games they have like a 3-month lifespan because
Mhm.
just liquidity gets sucked. So you really got to incentivize players to provide liquidity, and then you can't let it can't be a thing to where 2 or 3 whales can just kill your liquidity. Um, so we incentivize that, and then also with the blue chip giveaway that we're gonna do every single week, it'll bring a lot of people in that will prop up our ecosystem. And I'm a firm believer at the highest level, what we're building out here is an argument for an inflationary system and an argument for UBI. And that's my master plan with this is to gamify this, improve the game theory of it at a micro level, and then introduce it to governments at a macro level. Because the tokens that are issued based on our vault, those are backed by the blue chip NFTs in our vault. So as a team of developers, ideally we do a good job of giving people fun incentives, good what are called token sinks, reason to spend their tokens within our ecosystem. We're getting the licensing for Monopoly, Risk, and Life. So we're going to roll out more games. We're going to have other reasons that people are going to be able to spend their tokens within our system. And if they want to cash out for USDC, great, that's their money. And if too many people cash out and they're killing the token price, well, we can sell off from that vault, buy tokens back, burn them, bring the price back up because all those tokens are back. Our other tokens are backed by gameplay, and to play the game, you need tokens. The only way to buy properties outside how I explained to you with liquidity is you buy them in packs of cards, the same way you'd buy magic cards or baseball cards, and you have to buy those cards with lag tokens. 95% of those tokens are burnt. So based on my calculations and Monopoly, we had the advantage of being able to reverse engineer because all the math's out there. I know it takes you about 5 to 6 rolls on average to go around the board. I know 2.2% of times you're going to land on a spot, but we know that even though we have no token cap, we should burn between 39 to 49% of our tokens come into existence just through the token sinks we built into it with part of rent being burned. You remember the go to jail spot in Monopoly, Don't Pass Go?
Yeah.
Go directly to jail. So we turned
Been
that to
there,
rug.
man. That's a rough
I've been there
life,
too.
man. You know, the whole family changes when you're in jail, dude. You thought people would be there for you, give you some money so you could pay for your, hotels and shit. Nah.
Flip the board.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's a whole different story. My time in jail. That was my weed selling days.
Lost
But
all my houses, all my hotels, man. I had boardwalk. I was going places.
and it all, man. Yeah. Well, in our game, we call it rugged because that's what happens in NFTs and crypto. You get rugged. And so if you get rugged, you go to jail in our game. But there's also a jackpot that's steady building that a portion of all the rent goes to, a portion of the taxes, all that good stuff. And if you go to jail, you burn the jackpot for everybody, and it starts back over. So there's a lot of burn mechanisms built into our game to really keep sell pressure down, and then we heavily incentivize liquidity to keep sell pressure down too.
Mm.
Mm.
Have you thought
So-
about forking this for other games like Sorry?
So like I said, I'm dialing in the tokenomics right now for Lad Risk. That'll be what we come out with next, and then kind of we started drawing out the idea for Lad Life. Really those three will get us through the year, but like our thing is we're going to dominate the board game sector, and that's just what our plan is. So Sorry will probably make its way in there eventually.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite board games.
it
It was so simple yet so destructive.
it is fun.
I like the one where you had to pull the thing out of the guy's nose, and it was
Operation?
No,
Operation.
that's all I got. I'm not giving you any clues. I don't have clues. But
I liked
it was
Mousetrap, but I never played Mousetrap a single time the way it was intended to be played. I just used it as like, I don't know, just like a fidget spinner kind of thing. I just played
it
with
was
all the
just like,
fidgets.
You just build
Yeah.
other toys to climb on, basically.
Yeah, I don't even know how to play Mousetrap, but it was like one of my favorite games.
I just like building the shit out and just letting it go run and
Yeah.
push the thing at the end.
Yep,
I
exactly.
can't remember how to play it either.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
the most
know
important
anybody
part.
who knows how to play Mousetrap the way it was intended. Everyone just played with it as if it was like a toy.
I do.
But that's genius.
Wait, you
They
know how to play
approach the
Mousetrap?
game. You don't even have to
Alright,
know how to play
Brooke's
it.
gonna
It's so
teach me
fun.
how to play Mousetrap. Maybe we can stream
Alright.
it, teach the world how to play.
Dream
Dude,
Mousetrap.
I'm in for a live stream.
Conspiracy theory: there is no tutorial on YouTube on how to play Mousetrap. That's awesome, man. So I mean, that's freaking great, dude. So I'm curious, you know, where do you see maybe like in collaborative opportunities for the token or the game in general, whether it's brands or communities? What level of you know, I guess collaboration, can you really see happening inside the game and tokenomics?
Dude, that's a great question. So we're already talking with another project. They're a big project, so I don't want a name drop, but about giving them actually some squares on our spaces on our board and integrating their token within our game as well to give their holders an incentive to play and maybe even stake their NFTs, you know, within our ecosystem. Outside of that, we formed a partnership with the project called Drunken Apes, and what they are is fractionalized ownership of a distillery. So we're having them make us some Solad whiskey, and
Cool.
there's probably going to be like 100 to 250 of the bottles total made, and it'll be another free airdrop to holders essentially to where with us our Solads that have the black top hat are big ones in our community. It's our salute to you know Monopoly and stuff. So it'll probably be like everybody who has a black top hat will probably get airdropped a whiskey NFT, and then everybody else there'll be some random ones just airdrop. But what people will be able to do is one time redeem that whiskey. It'll be one time redeemable for the actual whiskey bottle, and then on top of that, if you want to spend some of your LAD token, let's say 250 LAD token, you'll be able to change the metadata of your NFT and the look of it to be a drunken lad. And so that way you can, you know, to be update cool artwork and
Cool.
and then people can kind of add their personality to what they want. And then from there, I'd like to form a partnership with you know like a dispensary and do the same thing, have like some Solad Ace or quarters, and you know same thing, one time redeemable, and you can pay some LAD token and change your LAD to a high LAD.
That's
And so
fucking
it'll
great.
kind
I
of
love this. So outside the box. I don't want to cut you off, but that's really outside the box. And I think make sure you know the terms are important. And we had Sebastian on from the Digital Asset, and you know calling those NFTs that we want to interact with other NFTs that are things like this, to call them consumables may be able to trigger a relatory response, like, oh, I can relate this to that, where like you play a video game and you have like a rare candy and you give it to your Pokemon, it levels up, right? It's a consumable. So these NFTs that we want people to intentionally destroy, essentially, you're going to redeem that NFT for the bottle, it's burning or whatever, then your character, your NFT, your other one is consuming that other NFT and now evolving. So I think that's cool that you're doing consumable NFTs, not just like in the metaverse, but using like the real world. That is meta. That makes it metaverse.
yeah. No, and like that's why our core values are community first. That's number one, and everything we do will always be for the community. They may not like everything right away because they don't see the overall grand vision, but it is in our hearts truly to drive the community first. Then from there, number two is we outwork the competition. If the other projects are working 10 hours a day, we'll work 12. If they're doing one event a year, we'll do one a month. We just got done in Miami. We're going to NFT NYC next month, or month after next, I guess now. But and then number three is we adapt and overcome. Everybody wants to talk about like 5 years, this and that, but NFTs, man, like a month in NFTs are like 6 months in the real world. So like so much shit changes that like you have to be ready to adapt and alter the course of the ship a little bit here and there, and then you just overcome all the challenges and obstacles that are probably going to come down from the SEC, and that's the reason why we've crafted our tokenomics a certain way with payouts from the vault and all this stuff to make sure we're ahead of any SEC guidelines. And then number 4 is we do dope shit, and at the end of the day, that's about having fun. And if we do all that stuff,
That's my favorite part.
the rest is going to come together. Like I'm fortunate enough to have a solar company to pay my bills right now. So like, I don't care if I make a dime off this. This is, I'm building something that's bigger than money right now. And I'm building a cool brand. And that's what we're going to do with this. And, we're going to look up in 2 years and, be one of the biggest brands on Solana. And that's why I wanted to be on Solana too, because I feel like it's a great spot to carve out a niche and be early before like the big money flows in.
I have a theory about Solana right now too, is that people have like a Shark Tank opportunity, because there's a lot of like investors paying attention to that space that have like venture capital firms, or at least they're a part of like, companies that invest in things, and they're watching that space for quality products.
They are.
Yeah, it's Shark Tank.
That is the difference, I guess, between like Solana and Wax. Solana definitely has that like enterprise Shark Tank vibe, and Wax is like doing similar things, but only like within itself. Like communities from Wax are investing in other projects in Wax, right? Like we have like Uplift and the Meta Builders and other projects that really just like invest in other people and other projects. But yeah, it's definitely not the same vibe at all, I'd say. Like we have like mainstream on Wax, but they're not like fucking with us. I would love to see Funko collab with Senor Lupe, getting like Funko chummies, but I don't see the big guys reaching out. But yeah, you're right. That opportunity on Solana is a little bit different for sure.
And it's weird though, because the Solana ecosystem doesn't have a ton of money in it, like not compared to like the Ethereum NFT ecosystem, but like. We were talking to Jordan Belfort, and he's like about like having him show up at one of our party we were throwing in Miami, and his secretary is like, "Oh, Adopoly, yeah, we heard about you guys." And I was like, "Damn, Jordan Belfort knows who the fuck we are," but it's just like he's a big investor looking to move in the space. He's gonna drop his own project. He knows every project in the Solana space, or ran in the Soul Big Brain at Miami Hacker House, and I was like, "Hey, I want to introduce myself. I'm manager sales. I love everything you post and share." And he's like, "Oh, Adopoly," and it's just like, damn, these are guys that have probably $50 to $70 million in crypto, and they know our little project. We're little in the grand scheme of things. Like unless you're like. Your project's worth several Ethereum. I think you're pretty little in the.
That's what I think Nathan's saying. Being a drop in the bucket. It really matters the size of the bucket. And Solana's got that right size right now. Even just
dropping a thimble is like a lot of.
That's exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Nathan. I was like, I know he's like, you were sending me the analogy.
That was perfect.
But yeah, I feel that's definitely the opportunity you have over there in Solana is, that's maybe not being as big as like a blessing actually, because a lot of projects that come out of the gate with too much support kind of fizzle off because of scalping. It becomes a flipping thing instead of community built thing. So yeah, definitely see that. Are you looking at any interoperability? When it comes to the game, the game or the token, because a lot of blockchain based games, if they have a token, you could take a bridge over and play with it on different dexes. Are you looking at any interoperability, and if so, which blockchains would you just want to touch?
So in the future, absolutely. I couldn't give a date, right now.
Right. I mean, nobody can. It's all speculation, right? Interoperability is like a fucking theory at this point.
Yeah. But like I said,
flying cars, like that's the same.
Yeah, which will come first?
Yeah, it's like we can do it, but we're not going.
Yeah, which will come first? Flying cars or blockchain interoperability? That's a great fucking tweet.
Well, we technically have both. It's just nobody's willing to actually put in the resources or like wave that interoperable flag. Like there's like, why take food off of your own table and just throw it on the floor? Like that's the risk. Like you're taking a situation where everybody's eating and potentially flipping the table over so nobody can eat. So like that is the risk, but the reward is super high. But then liquidity drains from all the good projects to just being equal across the board for a short period of time. And like, I feel like that mass, like kind of everything seeking its own level might really fuck up some things that are happening right now. So people might not want to deal with interoperability at the moment. Although
Well, I think you
think,
shake out the fakers, you know, with that,
yeah,
and only the A1 projects make it, which is kind of what we need right now, because then that eliminates a lot of the rug pulls, which we really are seeing a lot on the Solana space,
yeah.
or maybe not a lot. A lot's relative, I guess, but more, you never want to see any. And then you know, like I've talked to somebody that they know of a metaverse that's being built out that will connect Ethereum and Solana, and essentially it'll just be like there'll be a hub to where you upload your Solana NFTs, and there'll be a hub where you upload your Ethereum NFTs,
Right.
and in the middle is where you interact, and kind of how like with World of Warcraft, like the elves started over here in the forest, and the dwarves started over here. You know, the dwarves are Ethereum, Solana's the elves in the middle where you interact. Is you know, like Middle Earth and all that shit. And so like that's like I think the first step towards really collaborating on the blockchain, and being able to build out games within a metaverse like that, where you can upload your NFT and interact as your NFT in this whole universe that's, you know, scaled to bring stuff together. And I think that's the start of interoperability, but I think there is a grander thing than that will come.
Right. I tend to agree. So like my theory is that Ethereum, so if you look at everything like a web, like because it is like the World Wide Web, it's attached at the end of the day, right? Like Ethereum to me would be like the structure that the web is attached to. So like the spider is building its web, and the spider is us, right? And we're attaching these pieces of ourselves to different technology, right? And the structure that we've chosen for blockchain is like this corner of the house over here, and this corner happens to be Ethereum. So we have like this strand that's Solana, the strand that's Wax, the blah, 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 right? And I think that, I mean, it's kind of, like I said, we're the spider. It's up to us to make sure that we've picked the proper place to build it, and then that we've finished building it, or else we're not going to catch anything.
Yeah.
The people are the bugs that we're trying to catch for adoption. We can't catch them right now. So it's like interoperability means making things easier, I think, too. And that's how you get mass onboarding. And I don't know, if you look at like a price point perspective, like we're all doing amazing right now. Like I don't care when you get into the next few years.
Yeah.
You're in really good shape as long as you're attached to a quality project. Now, regulations, that's like kind of the only thing I fear, but like you said, it'll probably, just like everything getting connected would shake out the bad projects, so will regulations. Already started.
Yeah.
So we should welcome these things. On a lighter note, what is the dopest shit that you can't do right now that you want to do for people in the future?
Man, you know, I think that man, so I feel like what I really want to do, like we're honestly about to be able to do right now, which is like the big thing that attracted me to play during gaming was I love making passive income. But like my mentor's quote that he brought me up with was I'll become successful while helping others become successful. And the thing I noticed about play to earn gaming is in these underdeveloped countries, people are used to making like $40 a week. And if we can introduce them to ways to make 40, 100 to 100 bucks a day playing a game, that's literally life changing to them, and it gives them a chance to live a lifestyle similar to I live. I travel a lot. I work from home a lot. For the most part, and like my family travels with me, and to be able to provide that opportunity to people that otherwise would never have a chance, like that's the dopest shit to me. You know, my mentor helped 56, 57 young dudes like me that were broke when they met him become millionaires. And like his goal was to get to 100 before he passed away. And my goal is to create 420 millionaires so I can, you know, seal his legacy. And so, you know, like that's the dopest shit to me. I guess that's what I like to be able to do in the future is use our play to earn game and our project to help curate some multimillionaires and change their lifestyles and achieve their dreams. You know, like we got somebody on our project right now that they're using this to build a seed fund that they want to use to adopt some kids, and that's a strong motivating factor to be able to see them, flip our NFTs and have a tangible real world effect from it. I know somebody trying to buy a house from their mom, for their mom with our project and stuff like that. And people talking about businesses they want to start. And my entire dev team, they have ideas for projects they want to start, and I want them to have bigger and better projects than what we have here. So like that's the dopest shit that I'd like to see with blockchain, or have my impact be on blockchain. Yeah, obviously, I want to yield some results for myself, but I know if I can help enough people build up and change their lives through it, it's naturally going to just flow back to me too. So yeah, that's the dopest shit I'd like to be able to do right now that I can't. And I'd like to be able to say fuck the government with some blockchain, and just say like fuck the US dollar, and everything be transacted or backed by Bitcoin or something like that. So I think that will happen, but I don't think we're that dope on blockchain yet.
I think our government would have to control mining, and then they would do it. But, right? Because then they could like still manipulate the system slightly if I don't know. I'm sure they would figure it out, right? That's what they do. No, I fucking love what you said. I love your energy. I think that's a good mantra to have. You can't help but have the feeling of success if everyone around you is winning. So it's like just right there alone.
I feel like this is building a blueprint for what Zuckerberg wants to do with Meta, and Elon wants Twitter to do, and most platforms or websites and games, they're going to want to reward people for their time spent in that environment, because essentially you are playing the Facebook game or the Twitter game or the YouTube game by scrolling through it, clicking like, engaging with all the bells and whistles, and they're just not really they're charging you for it. They're not rewarding you for it, because they are bringing in value through the advertisements, through investors, through that gamification of it, and all those things that we talked about today here. And this is sort of, I think, gonna peer pressure the big players in the world to reward. Like I still feel like my favorite real world analogy for this is what the fuck was Domino's. Domino's is paying people to deliver their own pizza to themselves. Like that's just customer gamification, right? Like, and that's just one of the small ways I think the mainstream is going to start doing a lot about what we talked about today, by rewarding people. Is that why you see like Hasbro and like other main companies like really coming in, is because like they're kind of going to have no choice?
Yeah, I do think you're going to see a lot of other companies really come into this, and because they're going to have no choice. But the beauty of the blockchain crypto culture is that the indies like us these next few years can really seal our market share, and we'll be able to compete with the corporate big boys. And to be real, Hasbro doesn't truly grasp what this is. Like we said, our big thing with licensing is all we had to do is get their approval and pay them $70,000. They're not helping with marketing, distribution. They thought I was an idiot trading some JPEGs, and so like they don't truly grasp what this is, and that's why we're getting licensing on everything before they truly grasp it, and then we'll be able to do what we want regardless. But so I think that's why you're going to see a lot of the big time players truly come in, and especially like the game makers. Like I think you're going to see Blizzard, EA Sports, all of them start coming here, because the gamification of it is truly there, and it's available. Guys, I do have to wrap up though.
Yeah, I know we had a late start. I was going to say the same thing, so don't feel too bad, Andrew.
No, I would love to come back though, man. The conversation was awesome, man. I'd love to come back and talk.
You have the Calendly? Yeah. We could just talk about those topics, and that's we've already talked. Yeah, let's definitely
talk more about UBI, and this thought that I have of like hundreds of millionaires with top hats, smoking pipes, and monocles. Like, let's buy that. Let's get that. Fucking awesome. So
for sure.
Love you, bro.
All right, bros, go ahead and check out the site. It's in the title of the chat, so you should be able to click right there. Let me double check. Yeah, and I can post it again. It's LADOPOLY, Ladopoly, Lad, Ladopoly, ladopoly.io. Go ahead and check it out. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Don't forget to join Telegram, and still, let me see if I have this thing up. I have the site here. Yes. there's there. Don't forget to go ahead and grab one of these happy endings. It's a happy ending. It's the first thing I doodled and minted. So this is art by me. I made that. I'll post that right here. It should be pinned. And we can wrap it up here, bros. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and have a day.
Have a day. We love you.
Peace out, guys.
Say bye, Brooke.
Bye, guys.
Later, Brooke.
Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Kenn Bosak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Kenn Bosak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Kenn bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get some Kenn Bosak.